appreciate everybody coming. This is not like the most exciting topic, but it is an important topic. I really didn't read the webpage before I came tonight like I normally do to do what's upcoming. But Stephen is going to talk to you a little bit about his race on Lake Crabtree, and then also we do have it's still on the calendar for October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, the ocean down in Charleston area. That should be very good. It should be all levels, regardless of what level you are. They'll pretty much cater to it. So it should be a good weekend to go to that one. Those are the only two big things, training things that are on the calendar right now. Unless you, sure.
Is there a minimum number of participants for the October weekend to take one for the
For the, well, there's only, last time I looked, there was only like one person signed up for it.
They're 4 now.
They're 4 now? I don't know what their minimum break even is. I know that they're probably inviting other people to go to it, from other club, meetups. I'm not sure.
I know their meetup down there, they have, on their meetup, but they have it as a requirement to join the CKC.
Okay, which is how it should be. That's what
That's really what my question is going to be, is because it appeared there was a CKC event, but then I saw that Kayak Carolina, or whatever their website is, their meetup. And so it's going to be a combined with both them and us. And, okay.
Yeah.
But
If you look at their site, it says, if you look at the fees,
right.
there's a $20 CKC membership fee.
Yeah, that's why we were just worried that if all of a sudden we sign up and everything, then they cancel because there are only 2 or 4 people signed up for it. But
well, there'll probably be at least one more.
Well, they're advertising other places, so they're.
that's what I was asking.
They're
All right.
trying to scoop them all in.
But since they're using our insurance, it's a CKC event, like you said, so you have to be a member to use our insurance.
Right.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be our event.
So where are people staying?
It's Lake Trophy Lakes.
St. John's.
Where that is.
St. John's Island.
Oh, okay.
It's really pretty.
Beautiful.
St. John, are they using the
There's that little, there's like a series of 2 or 3 lakes there, and it's like a day camp, it looks like. They have a lot of,
Like skiing,
Ski
stuff
ropes.
like that.
is it ski ropes? I know they have a boat that runs up and down with the ramps, and then they have a lot of you get on the rope and go over the water.
so you do that in your kayak?
I
No.
don't think so.
That's a new one, boy.
So, but they use that as their base. So people who want to do like basic skills, they go on the lake and not worry about the ocean. If you want to go out and do like a paddle, I think they'll do a paddle with you and not have to not do training. Or if you want to do more like ocean skills, they'll do that with you. So they're really catering it to the group that shows.
Yeah, they got harbor tours and paddle out in whatever boats and look at the boats in the harbor and stuff. So they've got a variety of. You can train hard one day and tour the harbor one day and whatever. So.
Okay. Take a little different approach. Who likes pizza?
Yeah.
Starbucks coffee.
Thank you.
Wine.
Wine, beer? No, that's not it.
Yeah, beer. We got a beer locker back.
Who's got the best park system in the area?
North Carolina.
Wake County.
Wait,
Who said, give that girl a prize?
Wait,
Yeah.
Who knows the difference between a sea kayak and an ICFK1? You, you're not. Oh, come on, help me out here.
One's fast.
Oh, no, you already got a prize.
What did you do?
I have some other
One's
blank
racing
books.
boat, one's racing
All right,
Okay.
who knows the grocery store on the corner of High House Road in Davis that just opened?
Publix?
Blue.
Your favorite color, green.
Monkey
What
Bond
event's
Green.
coming up in 2 weeks?
Yeah, what, no, well, let's see, name a wing paddle, a racing wing paddle manufacturer.
Epic.
Jansen.
Gentex is good,
Gentex,
but I
yeah.
don't have an extra large, so. Give me an E.
Epic.
I said Epic.
Oh, boy, guys, I'm going down my list here. Another non-eligible person, but name one of 2 U.S. national team members that were on the Paracanoe sprint team.
Anya Pierce.
Oh, man, let me see. Well, I gotta come up with some hard ones. Okay, this is the hardest one. You are not eligible either. Name a U.S. gold medalist in Paracanoe at the 2015 World Sprint Championships. Yawning doesn't count, no. If you yawn, it would have been
Yeah,
over.
Anya. I don't know her last name though. Anya.
And he scores!
Close enough.
What's coming up September 26th at Lake Crabtree Park?
The race.
You got it, thank you. September 26th, paddle, Lake Crabtree, paddle,
Lake Crabtree.
Lake Crabtree, which is a, yes, it's billed as a race, but it is a, more or less a fundraiser and an awareness event for the Paracanoe Kayak Racing Club that's right here in town, that is sponsored by Ashley.
Well, Bridge to Sports, not me.
Who is
I'm playing.
the founder and director of Bridge to Sports, which is an adaptive sports program. Paddle sports is a relatively new addition. It's also kind of, it's been around for about 5 years now, but the rest of the world, or the paddling community, is trying to figure out, what do we do with these people? Well, we've got the solution. We want to put them on the water. Doesn't matter if you're a wheelchair, missing limb, arm, leg, whatever. Paddle sports are one of the big equalizers between able-bodied and adaptive athletes. Don't call them handicapped, because you will have an argument, and we've got some of the national team members coming down, and they will spank you. They will spank you very hard.
They will
So-
leave you in the dust too.
Yes, they will. That's after the spanking. But anyway, September 26th, Lake Crabtree County Park, which is right off of Aviation Parkway. There are 2 events, 3 mile and 10 miles. And if you do the 10 miles, you will know every shallow spot in Lake Crabtree, because unless we get a lot of rain, the lake is going down. It's going to be shallow.
Is it
But we
really?
have, we're expecting hopefully about 50 paddlers, maybe more. If you guys come, that puts the number up even more. For $25, you get a t-shirt, you get a something to eat, Starbucks coffee before the race, get you nice and wired. And then afterwards, we've got Publix, Ruckus Pizza, and Fresh Market are some of our sponsors. Great Outdoor Provision Company is providing prizes for the drawings afterwards. Also, Epic Paddle has donated, as they have for a number of years, about a $500 carbon wing racing paddle for those of you who are more, let's just say, performance interested. Or for the rest of us, I understand that Carol scored a 30 or a 60-minute massage session.
Oh, I won't know until Friday.
Yes, but you know,
Yes.
if we can't convince you with that, you have a chance to win a massage.
And there's that.
After doing the paddle Lake Crabtree, gosh, just pack up and go home. This is going to be a lot of fun. It can be competitive, or like many of the events in the area, it's a good fundraiser. It goes to support our program of well, what we're calling the Dock Project, is to construct a wheelchair accessible dock and make the whole waterfront facility accessible to people in wheelchairs. And there's a lot more going on, but I understand we have a lot of stuff to cover. So it's in the, well, I guess I gotta check the website. There is a notice or a talk about the event, but apparently some of the details got lost in the cyberspace. So we'll get that fixed. But if we can get a day like this, which traditionally it has been, it's going to be a lot of fun. I encourage you to come out. You don't have to race.
It's fun to watch too. It really is. Yeah.
It's even more fun to be standing on the dock and
Yeah.
watch the finishers.
Yeah.
But Lyman is a veteran. He was at the first one. And he
That was
raced
fun.
it, so.
It really was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, so I encourage you to all come out, and also please introduce yourselves to Carol and Ashley. They are I'm pretty proud of them for their paddling accomplishments. We started with sprint kayak and have moved down into, not moved down, but moved over to sea kayaking and the fun part of paddling, because now they don't have to listen to my
Keep
gentle
your hands
voice.
Hands up.
Yeah. Up,
Hands up.
down. They know the drill. In fact, they're already going through bringing their hands up. But if you have any questions, please ask any one of us after the meeting, and we'll answer your questions. If not, we're going to start taking hostages.
Thank you.
So I'll introduce tonight's program. Again, thank you everybody for coming out. Last year we put together we had out a survey that went club-wide, and we had probably, 10% response on that survey. So we are gonna put another one out this year, and we hopefully we get a better response or a bigger response. Because the survey is really for you, the club members, to figure out what you want, how the board and how people on the board can help you. If we don't get answers, then we don't know how to do it. When we did the survey last year, we kind of broke it in. The survey had different types of questions. Some questions you just answered assortment of bullet points, and then some of them you had questions you could do write-ins on it. So we generated a list, an action item list that we've been working from pretty much the whole year, and trying to target how we do training, how we do events, how we communicate. So this is kind of an overview of what we as the board have done, and then to get feedback from all of you as to what we should be doing or how we can improve and help. So John is going to come help me do this presentation. Series of questions. We took the action. We put together the action item list, and these are the categories of the action item list: communication, PAL events, training, programs, and memberships.
Long way, sorry. Okay.
All right, so communications. What we try to do with communications, we made some changes to the website. We created a forum topic to put questions out. If people had questions with how to do the stuff on the web page, we try to get people to start interacting, ask questions, and then we could answer. If you had a question, how to change your profile update, somebody would put that question on there and hopefully you got an answer back how to do it. I don't know that we got that many questions out of it, but it was there, and I think we got some communication back with a few members to do that. On the Facebook page, we had a lot of conversation on the Facebook page. At the beginning of the year, there was only a certain one or two people who could actually put stuff on the Facebook page. We opened that Facebook page up so that I think all the coordinators can write and put stuff on the Facebook page. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not a Facebook person, but I think that's correct. So we were trying to do that. We were trying to reach out to. I'm not a Facebook person, but reach out to the people population out there who does a lot of Facebook and to get some more activity with that. And from what I can tell, it has gotten a lot more activity. I think Chip, you got quite a bit on the Facebook page. Thank you very
I
much.
put all these videos on Facebook.
Yeah.
Awesome.
From what I can tell, we are getting a lot more positive, and I can see a lot of people pinging on the Facebook page.
I think we have about 400 likes now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has been a good improvement for us to, I think, do more stuff on the Facebook page. Monthly emails to members, that's me. Sorry, I've been a little slack on a couple of months, but I am a volunteer. I try to get one out every month. I think I missed a couple of them in there. But so what I try to put on those emails is the upcoming events, the training events, and basically just what's happening in the next 1 or 2 month span. If you think you like to see something, what I'm probably going to do on this next month is some of the how-to stuff, because we've gotten some questions on how to do stuff on the webpage. So I'm going to try to put some of my how-to stuff on there. So if it's to your liking or you want to see something different, just raise your hand and let me know. I'm real bullet oriented, so if that's not how you like to see it, let me know. I think that's. Any questions on communication or how we're doing it or what we should do different? Oh, there's more communication. Okay. Scholarships. What I wanted to do with scholarships this year is always it's kind of been like in the background and nobody really understood that we had scholarships and who got the scholarships, and it was kind of like this little elite club that got the scholarships. So I wanted to make it so on the first newsletter thing I sent out, I listed who had received their scholarships and what they received scholarships for, and try to get more people generating or wanting to do more so you could get a scholarship. So the people who are eligible for a scholarship are the ones who are active members, and then I think it's just your activity level that gets voted on, correct?
I think you have to have organized something for the club in the past year. A trip or a training.
Trip organizers and trainers.
Organize and volunteer. So it's basically being active. And if you're active, then you can, and it's 2/3 of the class amount that you're going to go to. So it's pretty good. So if you have
That's pretty
$200
good.
class, you get 2/3 of it back. And it doesn't include travel or food, but it's 2/3 of the tuition, which helps a lot. And it's just, right, in the past, we've only had like one scholarship per person per year. And we have a hefty budget for it, but rarely do we use that entire budget. So use it. It's there. It's a club resource. It's good. We like to keep people training, and it helps you. What else? Okay, charitable donations made by CKC. So every year we come up. Last year we donated to I think 5, 6 different organizations, and we donated. John, I'm out right now, but it's I want to say at least 1,500 something like that to each the organizations. And Maria and Nancy Guthrie are going to do a presentation, I think, next month on those organizations that we donate to give an overview of what we're interested in. But it's primarily our local, like Pamlico Sound, Tar River Association, help me, Chip.
News River Keepers.
News River Keepers.
I think Cape Fear River Keepers, maybe, I don't know.
Jordan Lake. But it's local interest, and then we've reached out a little bit to the Sounds of North Carolina.
The state estuary.
What we typically use and what we, as paddlers, where we paddle. So some good stuff there. We do try to work with community and get money out there to other people. Any questions on that?
So I'm new to the club, and I was wondering, is there emails about when some event gets announced? It's kind of.
So if you register for an event, an email does come out.
But how do I know about the event if it doesn't?
How do you set your profile up so you get?
Well, when you're on the site, you get emails from the site announcing new events as they hit the calendar.
So if you look at the website,
So my friend and I tried to do it.
okay.
So that's one of the things I'm going to send out in my next monthly letter. That will say how to change your profile so you get emails. There's 2 different types of emails you can get. You can get event emails, and you set it up one for that way. And then we have what's called forums, and you set up how many emails you want to get if you want to get 4 emails. Forums are if people have comments. We do anything from selling your boat to educational events to trip,
Reports.
reports, I think there's like 6 or 7.
Discussions about paddling.
Discussions,
Just about
anything out there.
anything.
So you can, so there's 2 different things you have to set up to get emails. Is there the form set up as well as the deal. Anyway, so I'll send that out
There's also a
with
thing,
the
if
next
the
letter.
organizer has to set it up to send the email.
Yeah, I think
So if
that's.
they don't set it up to send the email,
You're not gonna get.
no one's gonna get the email.
Yeah.
In the
So the
meantime,
easiest way is just every week or so, go to the calendar and see what's out there.
Yeah.
I can't stress that point
I-
a
I-
lot.
I
because
check the calendar
you need to go
because
in and check
if it's
the
a
calendar.
really nice event, it will fill up.
That's
Really
the thing,
quickly.
yes.
So I check the website basically every other day, probably every day, every other day, just
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as a calendar feature that when something has been added within the last, whatever, week, it shows differently to the person who,
Well,
you know, is
and there's
returning to the
also on the front
calendar?
page, if you look on the lower, at the bottom right of the front of the home page, it lists the upcoming events for the next, I think, 30 or 45 days, something like that. That's right on the home page, and if you click on that, if you're logged in, and you click on that, it will take you to that calendar event.
So again, visit the webpage, check the bottom right corner, those are the most immediate items that are on the calendar.
And understand that this webpage isn't, this isn't, not all of it is under our control. We have to work within the package that we have.
But for communication and paddle events, put those 2 together. Have y'all thought about a meetup group? Because those meetup, I mean, that's how Scott S. down at CKC Carolina, that's how he has so many followers, is because he leverages the meetup group.
Well,
And to me, that just makes it, everybody's making faces, y'all don't like meetup?
it's been a lot of discussion how to do this and what kind of approach we need. And that's one of the things I want to, actually, on the next board's agenda, how we go forth with the coming year, because we put a lot of events and a lot of stuff on the calendar. We don't have a lot of participation, whereas I think most people come to us for training and they go to the meetups for paddles. So how do we focus and how do we do that? Do we create a meetup and do it that way, or do we just continue on like we continue on?
What would
So
be-
it's a bigger discussion.
What would be better about having a meetup?
I'll tell you the truth is that I'm in Charleston next week, and then I'm planning on going down there October 2nd. And I found that out not from CKC, but I found out about from CKC Carolina. And so the only information I get right now, and it's because the membership's under her name and we're a family, but I can't get on the website. So every day I get meetups and they're training every day. And I would have loved to, and I talked to Chuck about this, I would have loved to have done some training this summer with the group, so I just keep driving down to Charleston because, you know, whether it's a trip leader class or whether it's, you know, yesterday we were out on Noose River with Simply Kayaking, and they did a big, you know, come on out, let's do rescues and everything. So, you know, and all that comes from a meetup. And because I try to use the Facebook page, and it's only because my own stupidity on computers, but the Facebook page wasn't providing calendar stuff for me. I understand we're not using that, we're using the website, and I got it, check the website every day, but I just, you know, when it's right there in your face, and Shoes Irregular Thursday Kayak is every Thursday down in Charleston, rain, sleet, snow, or shine. And
So you get, every time an event comes up on the meetup you belong to, you get an email.
Exactly.
If you set it up that way.
Right, so
If you announce it, again, the person setting it up has to announce it to the club or to the meetup for everybody to know.
And I think that's one of our problems is a lot of our organizers
Yeah.
don't do the email
Don't do a
announcement.
reminder, yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
do the announcement.
No, because I was at
So if you
the,
don't go to the calendar, you literally don't know about it.
right, I was at the Simply Kayak meeting on Sunday. About 35 people came out. And
You
I
were there
met
yesterday?
Yeah,
oh, awesome.
Yeah, and one of the girls is wearing the CKC shirt from last year and said she signed up this year. I said, but I haven't seen you in the events. She said, well, I didn't know they did events. I thought they just did training. It's like, Jesus. Because if you don't get those reminders like you do in Meetup, they just bombard you with them. You're not aware of them. So I think organizers need to set it up, to set it out, notices out immediately. Because you're competing with that mindset.
Yeah.
It's not like none of the organizers do that. I'd say at least a half, maybe 3/4 of the organizers set things up so there are emails. I mean, if you go back through your inbox, you've got a lot of emails in there announcing CKC events.
Can it be made a default thing?
Unless you've set the email
That's one of the
preferences in
things
some way so you
we
don't get
don't
any
control.
emails, so.
And I've got 4 bicycle rides tomorrow, and I'm trying to decide which one I'm gonna go on, because they're all different meetup groups. And it's all the same group of guys and gals. It's just, hey, who are we gonna go with tomorrow kind of thing. And so, to me, that's a really effective tool. And like I said, the guys down at CKC are just killing me. There's a 12-mile swim next weekend. They need support paddlers. So they put on there, we need support paddlers. And immediately, I mentioned within 4 days, they had 50, I think it's 50 paddlers right now supporting them. So,
I wonder if in the profiles, like she said, you gotta set it up to get the emails. If it, like with the meetups, it's a default, you're gonna get the emails unless you turn them off. Maybe,
We've gone down that path, how to figure out how to set it as a default so you get it, but I don't think you can do it that way.
But the default is you get the emails. That
Is the default? So, Rodney, we probably need your help some with going back
The-
and getting on it.
Again,
Because
and I know
that's where we're slipping a little bit.
at least 8% each of the organizers, set the notice out there,
I always do.
but not all of them.
Yeah,
Some of them don't even put their contact information out there.
yeah.
It's a little complicated system to set up an event, and they have quick events now, which are much quicker, and you can just pop them in there. But again, I don't think a quick event actually asks for the organizer or sends out any, you don't have to. So unless you
send out an email. I mean, you can't send out an announcement, it just goes on the calendar.
Oh, that's what the quick event, it doesn't go out? Okay.
Yeah. And so you actually have to be an organizer to send an announcement.
We looked at Meetup, and there was a number of reasons why we didn't choose it. We give up a lot of control by going with Meetup.
Lyman, I'm not suggesting you go to Meetup.
No, I know,
I'm just
but
saying
we've
you're
looked at it in the
Because
past.
I just did an event and Ingrid helped me with with setting it up, and that program is a little more complex than you think.
Yeah. Oh,
I
it
wound
is.
up calling the support. I didn't get Ingrid. I just called the 800 support and said, I need help.
It is not.
I know. I
It
knew,
is
I
not
knew this
friendly
program.
for setting up.
No,
either.
No,
I used this
it's
program
not.
before CKC had it, and it is still 7 years later. Still kind of goofy.
So this has been a ongoing year after year, as long as I've been a member of this club, quandary on how to do it. So,
We should probably
All I
maybe shop
can-
other vendors.
so I guess is suggest is if you want to help solve this problem, we're open to listening how to solve it. It's an ongoing how to fix this problem. That's all I know how to say.
No, this.
Yeah, this is the next one.
For those of you who don't know me, my name's John Darling. I'm the cruise chair, which means I'm the lead organizer, I guess. So it's all my fault. We have something like 35 organizers who basically plan and put trips and events on the calendar. In the survey, we asked a number of questions about what kinds of trips people are looking for, what they'd like to see more of, and just tried to get a sense from people what they thought would be improvements to the club in terms of how the organizers operate. One thing that we asked about was whether there was interest in sort of a mentor program to bring new organizers into the group. So basically people who are interested in becoming trip organizers but maybe didn't feel confident just plunging in could be partnered with an existing organizer to to sort of have a mentor relationship. We had 11 people say that they were interested in that. Unfortunately, when I reached back out to the membership to actually implement the program, only one person responded. So I guess maybe it was more of a hypothetical interest than a real interest in that program. So that effort to recruit new organizers kind of fell a little flat. We did manage to get one new organizer onto the list this year, Kevin Dunphy, and he's already put a couple things on the calendar. We've had a few other people express interest, including one person who I have to talk to, who was interested in becoming an organizer specifically for stand-up paddleboard events. So we recognize that that's kind of a growing interest among the membership, and it might actually draw some new members in. So that's a possibility. Another thing that we were trying to learn from the survey is how to increase the number of paddles that would be of interest to the membership. And we got a lot of feedback suggesting that people wanted more sort of shorter, leisurely paddles on the weekends as opposed to these 16-mile intermediate paddles that we do often. We tried to come up with ways to get more things posted to the calendar. One thing that we tried was this quick event option that Ingrid already mentioned. So this is a way for basically any member to post what we call a show and go event. So this is an event where basically, I'm going for an 8-mile paddle this coming Saturday. I'm going to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning at Farrington Point. Anyone who wants to show up can join me. So any member has access to that. It's relatively easy to set up. But it's limited, as we've already discussed, in terms of the kind of information you can put up there. We opened that up, I think, early summer, and aside from Carol, I think we've only had one person post one event using that. So again, kind of limited response to using that. We're still trying to actively recruit new organizers. And also to encourage more activity from existing organizers. That's always a challenge. I mentioned we have about 35 organizers, but in reality, we have maybe a dozen who really are active in any calendar year. So when you look at the calendar and see the number and type of events that are out there, remember that you're looking at the activity of around 10 or 12 people. So we've got a small number of core organizers who are really doing a lot of work. One thing that we tried to do this year was to establish something similar to the Wednesday night Farrington Point paddle, but at a time and place that might be more accessible to people. So we set up a show and go paddle on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock. We partnered that with a 1-hour sort of peer skills practice from 9 to 10. Put that on as a regular series through the summer. Initially, we got a pretty good response for the first couple of weeks, but then it kind of tapered off, and towards the end, there were really only 1 or 2 people showing up. And it got to the point where we realized that it really wasn't sustainable, despite the fact that we thought we'd put it at the right time and the right place. But so that's been removed from the calendar now. We're considering trying that next year, but in order to make it work, I think we need to get some real serious investment from a small number of organizers so that we make sure that we've got someone there every week to kind of guide the thing along and establish some momentum. So maybe we'll get that up and running next year. We go to the next one. One of the things that came up as a way to sort of stimulate interest in paddles is to get better documentation of paddles that have already happened. So better trip reports, maybe get some photos up to get people interested in the paddles that are posted. I did create a trip template. So basically, it's a form that organizers can use to plan their paddle. And that way, the form can be transferable to new organizers. So for instance, Rich Wilcox did a trip out to to Cape Lookout in May, I think. He filled out one of these templates, so now if anyone else wants to do a trip out to Cape Lookout, they can look at Rich's template. He's got information on the route he took, tide tables, links to various information that you need. Unfortunately, that's only one of 2 templates that have been filled out right now, so again, it's a limited number of volunteers working on this stuff. I had hoped that by now we'd have sort of a handful of these for organizers to use in the future, but we're still working on it. Okay, I think that's it for paddle events, but I'll carry on with the training. Okay. So there's been a whole lot of training that's happened this year. The big events, as usual, the Jordan Lake Symposium and also the Oceans 15 Symposium it was at Carolina Beach, right? But there's been a lot of smaller events that have happened as well. We've got pool practice every winter. That's probably about to start up in the next month or so.
November 6th is first Friday.
So those are great opportunities to get out and practice rescues, rolling, anything that doesn't require you moving around a lot. We had a Greenland workshop this year, and I expect we'll probably have more Greenland-related trainings in the future. Dawn Stewart did a navigation series, which was sort of a classroom event, which a number of us participated in. In addition to the symposia, we also had some folks from CKC Carolina come up and do a trip leader training certification. So a small handful of people participated in that. It was offered for free through the club to people who were organizers and wanted to develop their trip leader training abilities. We've actually got people within the club, instructors who are capable of teaching that course. So we may be able to do that in the future as well for the next generation of organizers. Stephen led a fitness paddling series, which went throughout the summer, just finished up a couple weeks ago. So that was a great opportunity for people to learn more about performance paddling and the kind of training that goes into that. And also just to get fit for whatever paddling people are doing. And as I mentioned, we tried to do this skills practice on Saturdays, and that it went pretty well for about a month or so, but kind of petered out. The Charleston event that's already been mentioned should be a great training opportunity for people. It's a pretty broad set of skills that they'll be looking at, so I think there'll be a lot of interest in that. And I don't know if this has been formalized yet, but Ingrid's been working on bringing in someone to do a wilderness first aid course. It's going to be in the spring, right?
So I'll probably do that it's going to be wilderness training class. It's going to be a float, so it'll be geared towards the water. So it not just the wilderness, but stuff that happens on the water. And I'll probably do it either late March or April timeframe. There's no on the water exercises. So, and I'll get somebody to come down from solo, and we'll just get the instructor to come here, so nobody has to travel. Like that person travels. So I think we should have a pretty good turnout for that. The fee for that will probably be, it's not set yet, somewhere around $180 for that.
Which is, so that's partially subsidized by the club because we'll pay for the instructor's hotel and travel, and so it ends up being quite a bit cheaper than you normally pay, even if you did it through.
If you did it through REI, it'd be $225.
So you get a certification from that?
You will not get a first aid certification. That's extra, but you will get a certification.
So the last time we did one of those, we got the wilderness first aid certification.
But not the CPR.
But not CPR.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to add CPR to it, it's another $20, $25 a head.
And probably another, is that a day to the course?
No, it adds, like if you do the course on Saturday, those people would have to do the CPR training Saturday night, and then you come Sunday. So I think it just extends your 2-day time.
But it's also, it's pretty unusual to get a course that offers training specific to water sports, so that's a nice opportunity. Yeah.
So do you have to have any other certifications to come to that, or is it
No.
open? So it's just,
No,
it is
open to
open for,
everybody.
okay.
All level, all skills, anybody that wants to go.
So as soon as that's set, I suppose it'll get up on the calendar.
I knew people weren't gonna, if I set it up in March, nobody was gonna put the
Yeah.
$130 out there, so I wasn't too rushed.
So the other thing we've been looking at is putting together a program to keep and develop instructors in the course, because I mean, one of the big differences between CKC and the meetups is we do offer a lot of training. So that's one of our strengths, and we want to establish a program to maintain that as one of our strengths. So Larry Osley recently got his IT in coastal kayaking, L3. He's already, I think October 18th, doing a training program for people who have been certified instructors up to L2. So it's going to be sort of a, I forget the term. It's not a tune-up, but
It's an instructor update.
An update, instructor
Instructor
update.
update.
Yeah, right. So I think he's got a number of people already engaged
I
in
think you
that.
had 4 people, and I think you had 2 more slots open.
So we're working towards making sure that the trainers that we have on board are maintaining their skill set and maintaining their certifications. We've also, so Chris Rezak recently, I think this spring, got his L3 training, so we're continuing to add new instructors and trainers as well. And I think we'll probably work over the next year to develop this program further. And I think what we'd like to do, we've been talking about this a lot on the board, is try and get more training events on the calendar that are sort of, half-day training events, not as extensive as the symposia, but geared towards smaller groups and more specific skills. So, maybe a 3-hour rescue class or 3-hour strokes class, something like that. So get more of those on the calendar. Let me go to the next one. So that's it for the trips and training. I'll just pause and see if there's any questions about that stuff before I hand it back to Ingrid. Okay, thanks.
No comments on that? Man, we spent
Crystal clear.
We spent so much time talking about it. Membership. So we tried to figure out again on the survey what, query the people and figure out what you were looking for and what kind of trips you were looking for. And I'm not sure that we've been real successful with it. But Debbie, who's our lead membership, she has spent a good amount of time with new members, sending out emails to new members, welcoming them. I think she's even done some phone calls. One of the things we tried to do was set up another kind of committee, a welcoming committee, have somebody other than Debbie reach out and welcome new members. Again, it's getting the volunteers to help us. It's not, not all on Debbie's plate just because she's had a membership, but we haven't been real successful. So if you would like to help us and volunteer to do some of those calling and questioning and welcoming people in and figuring out what kind of paddles they want to go, partner with them on the paddles, that will be very helpful, very welcoming for people to do that. Because I think when people come in, we do tend to be a little bit cliquish in our club, but we need to, help people come in and do the type paddles that they want to do. We spent a good bit of time talking about brainstorming how to get younger people to join the club, and I think that's where all the Facebook focus has been, because I think us me old folks think that all young people do is Facebook and tweet. But anyway, so that's why we just spent a lot of activity on the Facebook and getting that, and it seems to have worked somewhat. I'm not sure what the age range is that had gotten to the Facebook, but it does seem like we did have one or two younger end of the generation join some of our paddles. So, but now it's getting more to join and keep them engaged. And keeping them engaged is getting trips out there that interest them.
Do we do anything with the universities? Like, you know, they have different club thingies. Do we ever go and say, hey, we're here if you want to come paddle?
Nobody's ever done that I know of. No, we haven't done that. That's pretty much it for.
I'm gonna just throw in actually two wrinkles, but since we'll call it a friendly takeover, but it hasn't been an easy one. But the ACA took over the USA Canoe and Kayak, which is the governing body for competitive sports, paddle sports in the U.S. And even the people that should know what they're doing, it's been a rough transition. But because I'm coming from the USAC background, but I've also been an active sea kayaker, I'd like to see a way to invigorate the performance end or competitive paddling with the CKC, because you are the 900-pound gorilla in the room. And I feel like the little spider monkey that's trying to get along. But somehow, if we could...
There's a certain group in this, I mean, you have niches in this group. You have a group of people that like long distance paddle, who do a lot of distance, like the whole week paddles or extended long 15-mile-a-day paddles. Then you have a very smaller intermediate, the ones that like the 5 to 10 mile. And then you have a big group of beginners. So it's how to keep all those parties interested.
That's exactly what I'm getting at, because I was involved with the Mudflat Rangers, which is that was in their primordial soup, and now we have the CKC. But it's just from an organizational point of view that the racing crowd is perceived as I don't know, we're all a bunch of fast paddlers, but because of the organizations, I hate to see another small faction trying to make its way, even though it's part of the ACA.
Right.
And if we're reaching out to stand-up paddleboard, which is also a growing group of paddle sport, I'm going to ride their coattails too, to see how I can take advantage of membership, the organization, things like that, to bring another small niche of paddle sport.
Well, I think to do that, and to promote and keep the racing piece of it going, if you do web searches, as you know, there's races all over the place.
Not really. Trust me, I'm.
You're the racer.
Yeah. The turnouts. I mean, if there may be. For example, the Lumber River Challenge that's been going on for 15 years. It draws about 50 people, whereas you have some like the General Clinton up in upstate New York. It draws several hundred, but the numbers are dropping because everyone is aging out, and you don't have
the
new paddlers, younger paddlers. And yet you go to Europe, and there may be the Tour of Gudna in Sweden. Each wave has about 1,000 paddlers, and there are a number of waves. I mean, it's and that's even with the 2-mile portage. Nothing deters them. So the popularity is.
I wouldn't want to coordinate that.
Well, yeah, but the point is everywhere else in the world, paddle sports are booming, but in the United States we're stuck, and I think I'm just trying to see what can be done to get us unstuck.
Well, there's another whole niche nobody ever mentions. It's all the fishermen now that are on kayaks too. We don't even touch them, and there's a whole organization of them out there too. So, but And we're open to ideas on how to help and how to get that word out there. It's just, we need suggestions on how to.
Well, you know, I guess I haven't really been young for a while.
There you are, John, you're young.
About getting younger people in. I mean, I can imagine, I mean, even just going to the pool and looking at the demographics, the sea kayakers skew way older than whitewater. I suspect that things like whitewater, maybe surf, maybe racing, would be ways to attract younger paddlers to paddle sports, because those are the kind of competitive adrenaline.
I think having paddle boards, doing paddleboard events, especially having a paddleboard race, that would really
Well, the
put a
stand-up
lot
board
of
is,
kick
it
into it.
would definitely draw the younger people in.
Yeah. And that could be part of your race, Stephen. You know.
It is.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
very
I mean,
effective.
you know, we've had, we've offered, even the older series, the Paddle Fest. We could not get anybody in canoes. We had one or two canoes, canoers that would show up. It's just, the young people are not coming into it.
The problem is, it's not a cheap sport.
That's what I was
No.
thinking.
And so, you know, you have to be of a certain age to be able to afford a boat. And I suspect that one of the reasons that Europe is so far ahead of us is because they have lots of clubs that have
Exactly.
equipment, and we just don't.
Yeah.
Well, right
You
now
can
I
throw
have,
tomatoes.
Are you
You can throw tomatoes
proposing
at
a
me,
club?
but I gotta tell you, I've been a skydiver for a long time,
Yeah.
and a rig is $6,000, and then you have to pay $22 to $25 every time you go up in the airplane. So I'm gonna push back on you about this being an expensive sport, because I'm not spending anything on kayaking right now. You know, my bicycle is a $6,000 bicycle. Every time I blow a tire, it's $150. So, I mean, so that just is that kayaking, relatively, you know, you're $1,000 to $1,500 on a boat that is a decent used boat, and then $150 on a PFD, $300 or $500 on a paddle.
That's a lot for some people.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you is that, let's go down River Drop Zone this weekend,
Yeah,
and you'll see you have
so-
people standing in line to get on an airplane.
But what's the
I'm just telling you.
community, how many people are skydiving versus how many people are, at whatever age, are kayaking? Skydiving is a much smaller group. than
No, but what I'm
paddling.
saying is that I've been in that same conversation with skydiving clubs before. How do we get the young guys in? It's like, hey, just throw them out of an airplane. You have a $6,000 left for a rig. Okay, fine, you know, but they'll figure it out. And by God, they're out there spending, and I'm looking at their equipment going,
A rig.
man, and so my point is that this really is not that much money. I'm
Oh,
telling you.
no, but it's a perception.
well, and I heard the comment is relative, but that's where, you know, the racing crowd, now I've got a K4, I have access to a couple K2s, and probably I can put my hands on a half dozen older K1s that people are either giving to me or say anytime you want to use it. You know, I've got the gear, I can find $400 racing paddles through my net for $100. I mean, so.
It just seems like that the things are out there. I was on Church of the Double Blade Paddle the other night, and there's somebody on there kvetching about that they couldn't find anywhere to kayak in North Carolina.
Really?
They haven't looked.
They haven't looked.
Well, that's just it. So I went on there and said, hey, there's this thing called CKC, CKC. It's awesome. Come on out, Jordan Lake. There's, you know, go to meetup, Simply Kayaking, great group. You know, yesterday we had, what, 25 or 30 people out there. So, I mean, yeah, to me, it's just, you know, getting out there. And as everybody knows, when you go out to Jordan Lake, when you go out to your little pond over there, Crabtree, I mean, you know, I went bicycling by Johnson Lake, I think it is, over on, was that Johnson Lake? I mean, there are people out there paddling, it's just collecting them up, it seems to me, and saying, hey, come on over, we'll give you a cool sticker, you know, for the membership.
Do we market at those locations where people go and paddle or rent kayaks? Like,
We have marketed some, what we have marketed for has been like for demo day or for the symposium.
That
we
was a
have
big
specific-
success. So a lot of people came out demo day and it was,
Yeah. We have
was
specific
really-
events that we market for, but we don't market for, hey, CKC, come join us.
yeah.
Actually, I'd make the argument against marketing, because you reach a point where you have a huge membership role, but if you don't have a product to offer, meaning the organizers that are putting on the variety of things that they're looking for, I mean, you'd be in the same position that you are right now, just with a larger role or roster.
We have about 300 plus nine members. So, it's that ongoing conversation, where are our 300 members? So, I'm with you there, though. You have to which what we try to do, we try to get events on the calendar, we try to engage our organizers, we try to, engage the trainers, we try to get stuff on the calendar to get, you have to put something out there for people to come to it. And we made a huge effort this year to do that. And I don't know that we got the success that we were looking for, but we certainly made an effort to do that.
Well, you don't change in one season either.
No.
You got to keep trying.
Well, I think we, as far as marketing, I think we need to look at it as promoting ourselves. We go on some really neat trips, but we don't really show any pictures or put any trip reports up. And
Well, then you become, a tour guide.
Well,
no, but I mean, I think if people actually saw, all the fun that there is to have and the beautiful places that we see and the wildlife that we see, and read all about it, I think they'd be inspired,
Yeah, we see it on the page and then we share it with a friend
Yeah.
or to our Facebook page or.
And I think a
I
lot.
haven't done Twitter yet, but.
So I'm going to, kind of with what Stephen's saying, and this is a long felt opinion of mine, is, I mean, you just said, we got 320 some members. Do we need a larger membership base, or do we need to serve the members that we have?
I think we need to serve the
Better.
members we have before we
That's-
start reaching
that's
out and
mine,
trying to
yeah.
make it 600,
You
which
know, I
is,
mean-
by God, that's what we're trying to do.
And I thought that was the
But I mean,
big purpose of the survey was
To find out what they
our
wanted to do.
existing members,
yeah.
what do we need the people that have already paid to join the club
To build it.
to increase their activities, and their word of mouth will take care of some of it, but we're a nonprofit organization, how big do we need to be?
Well, I think our size is good. It's
I
just
mean,
servicing
yeah.
the ones we have is what we're, trying to.
I think if there's people that don't know that we do trips, I mean, there's something wrong with that, There's,
I would agree
we're
with
not
that.
getting the word out somehow.
We're missing something big time.
Yeah.
A lot of the meetups are talk about when CKC is training. If you want training, you go to CKC. You want to do trips, you go to the meetup. And
So that may be more of other people's influence and not our own.
Well,
Like,
that's
again,
kind
though,
of.
I mean, I would, as you know, because I only paddle with you twice a summer, but I mean, and again, it's my own fault because my idiot, I'm stupid on the computer. But is that, I'm telling you, I'm driving 5 hours to Charleston or however far it is, and I participate in their stuff because I just don't know about. And again, I admit I don't go to the website every day, but because I pull out my little thing, and so the 320 people, we didn't have 320 people at the symposium this year. And that crushed me. I was trying to, bring people in at the symposium, but
I don't think I'd want to plan it for 300. Oh!
no, I know. Then you'd have to be a paid member.
We've been trying to talk.
I just wanted to say that I agree that probably a good way to attract more people would be to connect with university somehow. So I spent 4 years in Wisconsin being a part of the member club there, which is like university club. We have tons of young people leading events. So it's very often undergrads, it's canoeing, sea kayaking, whitewater kayaking, all three. And they come, we teach them, and then they get their rating, and then after a certain level of skills, they lead events. So it's very clear, and like it's very clear how you can become a leader. So there is no problem. I mean, yeah, it never hurts to have more leaders, but there are like a lot of events every summer, and so the ratio of leaders to number of members is much better.
So what we try to do in relation to that comment is we tried to do trip leadership training because we felt that the coordinators were not leading trips because they felt uncomfortable about leading trips. They felt uncomfortable about how to do it, being responsible. So we put on a trip leadership club sponsor. Not
But I
much
mean,
responsibility.
if I'm a beginner, why would I go on trip leadership?
If you're a beginner, no, but if you have tons of intermediate level people who are at that level who should have just jumped at the opportunity for somebody to pay for them to take them through a course and how to be.
But
I mean, excuse me.
Go ahead.
I've never taken any leadership class, but I led many trips back in Wisconsin. And I think, like for me, I find it extremely hard to do any paddling here, which I'm very surprised about, because I don't have my own boat, and there is no way to rent a boat for the good price.
Call
So-
me.
Yeah, we have votes for you. Price is right.
I mean, I can't learn it from website. So I found this website of this club like on second day after I moved here. I didn't find any mentioning about like renting a boat, like borrowing. I was happy to pay, but like not $50 a day. So
There's so
which
many
I
people
think
here
is a
that
lot
have
if you do like several days.
extra kayaks. But you just say, put up a thing on the forum saying, can
But that's the thing. How do I know
bring
it?
it. Yeah.
And then meetings like this happens only once a month.
Mhm.
So I missed the previous one because I was
Yeah.
traveling. And so like, it took me the whole summer.
Mhm.
So I feel that, it's kind of, it's not easy to get into community.
Yeah.
I don't mean to criticize anybody.
Oh,
here.
no.
I feel
Yeah.
that, like in Wisconsin, undergrads
Mhm.
do a lot of work because they have so much time.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big part of our problem is that all the volunteers are, employed and
Yeah, have kids and
Yeah.
families and,
yeah.
the volunteer time can be a problem for a lot of us. But if you give me your email, I'll put
Yes,
you
hey,
on my
we'll
email
hook
list.
you in.
Yeah, we've got friend boats, we've got
Yes.
regular Saturday morning paddles.
Was your club in Wisconsin, in Madison?
Yeah.
Is that okay? I know it, okay.
So, back to the leadership training we did this summer. That wound up being a 4-day class for those participants. And that might be one of the reasons we didn't have more than a handful take it. And the mention has been how to bring that down to a 1-day class for trip leaders on Jordan Lake or something. And so that has been injected at this point and may get work done.
Well, what about doing something in the winter? Because in the summer, everyone wants to be outside. So maybe shifting it to a different time of the year.
Problem is you're on the water, you're not gonna get, everybody has to be dressed appropriately
Oh,
on the water.
so you do have to do the class on the water?
It's on.
Oh, I gotcha.
We do pool sessions during all winter long.
And you can do a lot of the talking stuff on land, but you gotta swim out on water.
Okay.
But I bet a real pared down leadership for just like, day trips on flat water in the summer, you could probably get away with, a 1-day classroom thing.
Well, see, I think that South Carolina, the Charleston event, I think that they're gonna try and do a trip leader type class during those 3 days or 2.5 days.
Yeah, and
And
they're
so-
doing a standard 2-day.
But again, I know you're gonna flip me out of my kayak, but how I found out about that trip leader class, although I live in Apex, was Don Dogfish called me and said, "Why is your name on my list?" And I was like,
That sounds like Don.
And so, pardon me?
That sounds like Don.
And so Don, and I was like, because I'm already signed up for, and he goes,
Great
"Man,
guy.
why aren't you?" And so, because I just wasn't tracking, I wasn't, again, my stupidity on a computer. But
Do you know, you can get your own login too, you don't have to rely on your login.
Nope.
I thought I told them.
Now, you're not an organizer, right?
No.
I mean, unfortunately, we're moving to Pennsylvania, but this whole summer, all I've been doing is just going around trying to find somebody to kayak with. And after Craig flipped me out my boat 4 times and said, "Don't paddle me." No, I'm kidding. But I mean, seriously, I was like, okay, there's nothing going on, so I started going out. So my point is that there are ways of doing this, and I wish I was going to be here for next summer, because everything will be so much better. But I will be there 2 October, by God.
Oh, there's more.
All right, programs. One of the things that came up, somebody suggested or wanted to see if we could do programs at different locations instead of at the same location, because they thought we'd get better attendance if we spread it around. It is extremely hard to find some place to have a program to get people there, so we, as the board, opted that we found one place and we're staying one place. Video streaming, I think actually Chip had the suggestion, and Chip has been graciously volunteering to videotape. And is it not posted on the club webpage, but I know it's posted on the...
Yeah, it's posted on Facebook page. We should post it on the club page.
I think to post it on the club page, you have to go through Fern and post it.
You have to go through a rigmarole to post it on the club page.
So we have been, Chip has been coming to meetings and videotaping them, and they haven't posted. I'm not sure if you can tell how many people have viewed them or not, but that might be an interesting, if we can find out if people are using what you do. I don't know how you would do
Can you
that.
tell people, well, don't go to Facebook, that they are there, then I might go look at them? Because
I can post in the forum, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
a
don't
lot of
think,
people read forums.
you put a notice out at least once or twice, a couple times that you posted it out
Yeah.
on Facebook.
So if you go to Facebook and like our page on
Yeah, but I'm
Facebook,
on Facebook, shit.
it will notify you that there's a video up there.
After every club meeting, there's one posted. So. And the final thing on the programs is there was a request for a thought to put greeters, to have people greet new members as they come to the door. I think Craig is our greeter actually, because he always stands back there.
Go to Walmart and get some more.
They're out of a job.
Yeah, we're trying for the job.
Yeah, so Costco has one, I think,
Yeah, they don't let you in unless you...
But anyway, so again, it gets back to the volunteers and having somebody organize it, and I don't think it picked up any steam because of that fact. It's something else for us to organize. So if you would like to help participate and put that thought in process, let us know, and we can certainly, it's a very valid point to have people come in and ask and talk to people and greet them when they come in the door. So, but organize. Last slide.
And just a testimony, our greeter would have made a big difference to me. Nobody recognized me the first time I came to a meeting, nobody. And if I didn't want to kayak so bad, I wouldn't have been here. Wouldn't have come back.
Thank you. I would not have missed you.
I'm sure a lot of people would now.
So thank you to everybody who has volunteered and everybody who has put stuff on the calendar, who has organized and puts things together and participated. A huge thank you goes out to everybody for that, and the board members for doing, and trainers and everybody who have done stuff. So thanks for everybody for that. There's volunteer opportunities out there. I mean, I put out there, Clean Jordan Lake. It's amazing to me sometimes that very few people want to help with something simple as that. So, and
Throw some hot dogs in,
I know, if you feed them, they show.
Marketing.
I know, and hot dogs go a long way. I think I'm going to buy stock in hot dogs and have hot dog roast. People come.
Oh yeah, hot dog roast, that'll make them come.
So I'm working on the survey, and I'm going to try to have by next Monday for the board review what the questions for next year's survey. So you should see that out in the next month or so. So if you would like to take the survey and put your opinion out there, it's more than welcome. We'd love to have your opinion. We'd love to have you, if you would, actually, I think if you would like to be a board member, we have a lot of positions open. If you want to take a more active role, to actually be a board member and to help coordinate some of this effort. So I think we're looking for a lot of number of people. That's basically all our presentation and to talk through what we have done and what we're trying to do. So I guess you can open up for comments of.
You need to stop talking. Don't shoot me if this is too early, but do you guys already know when your symposium will be?
It'll be probably that first or second weekend in June.
I'm thinking about, I don't know the exact dates, but probably the weekend before Father's Day, to give a weekend between Memorial Day, giving people a weekend off before they have another weekend.
And we're gonna try not to have two major events within months.
2 weeks apart.
2 weeks apart. I think that killed us. So, that's kind of all I have, and the, any comments, questions, concerns?
Thank you.
Everglades paddle.
Yeah.
Still have 4 slots open.
We still have a lot of slots open for that.
We still
If you'd
have
like to
slots
come
open.
paddle with Craig and I, we're going to Everglades. There will be no snakes and no alligators. And no
No sharks.
No sharks, no jellyfish.
The scheduled route we've got is the longest distance between camping points is 12 miles. If you go straight line, and that gives you lots of time to explore bays and look around and look at everything. So it'd be a good trip.
There's basically half of it we in the back. You know, if you looked at the map.
In the mangrove.
In the mangrove swamps, about half the trip will be back in the mangrove, and the other half will be on the orange coast.
Gulf Coast.
And that's October 10th.
October 10th. Yeah, 11th away.
Mhm.
All right. Thanks.